What is up, you guys? Give me just 1 minute as I'm working through a couple of microphone issues. I'll have them sorted out. We'll get to the stream ASAP. Alright guys, I think I got the audio just about sorted out. I'm putting together a couple more things. I'll be ready in just a few minutes. the wrong one. Let's try this one. Let's try this one a little bit, shall we? So, sorry about that. I guess right off the bat. So, I'm still trying to work through all these audio issues and things, and trying to figure out all the buttons and what all the clicky, the whole thing. So, give me just one more quick second, and I'll be ready to rock and roll. All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about quite a few things. I guess the first thing I want to get out of the way is the audio problem. So as it turns out, I may not nearly be as smart as I think I am. And this is what caused the problem. Just a couple of AA batteries the other day, and I couldn't figure it out. I guess because, like I said, I'm not nearly as smart as I think I am sometimes. But barring all of that, we're going to get right into what we've got going on today. And the first thing that we're going to talk about today is going to be the Fluke meter right here, this guy, and see where we're at, what's going on with it. Okay, so with the Fluke meter, here's where we're at, and I just want to recap real quick for you guys. I'm not going to drag it out super long, but currently where we're at is I have ordered another meter. I got a good deal on one. The guy had one for sale. It's a 70 series, but the chip should be the same. We're going to get that and swap the chip over and hopefully get this guy back up and running. But where that leaves us as of right this minute is there is nothing more that we can do with this. So we're going to tuck him in to his little holder, put him back in his little case, and we're going to stuff him in a plastic bag and wait till the new one shows up. And I say the new one, the new/old one shows up, and then we will pull him back out and hopefully pop the new chip on and have a fully functional Series 23 or Model 23 Series 2 meter. Hopefully that's what we'll have. So, over the last week, a bit of news crept up in the world of video games, mostly about this guy right here, but also including the 3DS and some other stuff. And what the news is Nintendo is effectively shutting down their online store. Now, anything that you currently have downloaded to this will, of course, still play and work fine and all that stuff. You won't be able to get any new games. And they're essentially abandoning all of their existing or all of what is on that store. They're abandoning it and saying, hey, we don't really want your money anymore, which is from a business point of view, I get that a little bit. You can't support an old platform forever. You just can't financially. But at the same time, you're locking people out from the history of these things. While the Wii U never sold in great numbers or any of that stuff, it is an important part of Nintendo's history, and the games on it should be preserved, and Nintendo should take those steps, even though they don't. And Nintendo is far and away the biggest offender of any of the consoles. They have been doing this, well, forever, and God forbid, should somebody, upload ROMs to a now dead game, and we'll not get into the whole, piracy or privateering conversation today. Not going to get into that at all. But what I am going to say is, if they're no longer going to support it, they should leave an avenue for people who may not have the chance to ever play those great games. They should have an avenue for those games to remain out there, and for people like you to get a hold of them and play them. There's a lot of games I don't have on the Wii U. Matter of fact, I did not buy a Wii U when it first came out. I just got my first Wii U last year, early last year sometimes, and I really haven't played it that much. Really not at all. I completely restored it, and then I bought another one because they are, it's not the actual console that's hard to get a hold of. It's the gamepad. Is just a nightmare to get a hold of, which is what it is and all of that. But the fact that they're abandoning this and the 3DS is, here is Microsoft and Sony to a certain degree trying to capture and keep their back catalog alive and take those old games from the original Xbox, the original PlayStation, and put them on their newest console generations. And Xbox has by far been the greatest about this, about moving those games forward and everything else. They've done an absolutely fantastic job. Whereas, some of the other companies have not done so well at all. But Microsoft does a great job. Sony is starting to do a better job, and Nintendo just doesn't care. And I don't really know, for that matter, that they ever have really cared. I'll just be perfectly honest. They certainly don't, don't seem to care at all, which is, what it is. But, my personal opinion, again, you want to get mad at people for, installing modded software or with Bowser, what's his name, from Executor, and hosting the files and all that. You want to get mad at them, you want to sue them, and I get that, again, protecting your content, your proprietary software and all that stuff. I get it. But at the same time, there are people out there that love those old games, the classic ones, and they want access to that and should have it. And to strip that away, and say, well, if you've bought it, you can keep using it, and if you haven't, then, screw you. That's not right at all. I don't think it is. I don't agree with it. I think universally everybody's on the same page. Everybody kind of universally says this is bad, this is terrible, and Nintendo shouldn't do this, but they are doing it, and it is what it is. And what are you going to do? Nintendo's you're not gonna win that, and at the end of the day, the best thing that could happen is everybody, kind of collectively get together and say, we're not going to put up with this anymore, and then not put up with it from them and let them know. But at the same time, it is Nintendo, and I'm kind of on the same boat as some of you guys are. I don't really care what they release. I'm buying it. Nintendo has a firm lock on the nostalgia market and the pulling of the heartstrings, so to speak. They got just such a solid lock on it. You can't get around it. And there's going to be people like me and like a lot of you guys that, it doesn't matter if they literally came out with, garbage. We buy it anyway. Shame on us, I guess, for that. But, being that as it may, kind of is what it is. Just so that you guys know, though, if you don't have them already, well, you're pretty much run out of time. You better either get to buying or get to doing something real quick, because they're shutting it down. Same with the 3DS, online marketplace, and all that stuff. So, terrible news and all that stuff. I certainly hate to hear it, but again, it is what it is. So, moving on from there. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about a little bit. Oh no, let me real quick grab these screws and put them in this bag before we lose them as well, or before I at least forget exactly what they go to. And I'll be hunting for them, won't be able to find them. It'd be terrible. So the other day, it occurred to me. So for those of you guys that don't know, I am a bit of an Xbox fanboy, so to speak. A bit of an Xbox fanboy. And I say that a little bit, sort of, kind of, tongue-in-cheek, a little bit. I just dusted this the other day, I promise. So I'm more than a little bit of an Xbox fanboy. I'm a huge Xbox fanboy, and I had an original Xbox One when it first came out. I say when it first came out. It took me a little bit to pick one up, but I ended up getting one, and then I don't know. I think something happened to that one. I don't know. But I picked up several, and I've got several more. And the reason that I've got this one out today, this is not one that we're going to be working on, ish. So I got to looking around, and for those of you guys that don't know, it is Xbox's 20th anniversary year, which is a big deal, for Microsoft and for Xbox, and certainly wish them the best and all that stuff. And I've got lots of Xbox goodies floating around everywhere. Anyway. But this is their 20th anniversary. So this console, and maybe not this exact console, is now 20 years old. This generation is 20 years old of us having the Xbox out in the market. And that's a big deal. I mean, it's not a Nintendo big deal, but it's still a pretty good sized deal. It's something definitely worth noticing and remembering. And so they've come out with several 20th anniversary things. I've got the 20th anniversary controller over there, as well as the 20th anniversary. My wife got me for Christmas the 20th anniversary Duke Hyperkin controller, which I really like that. Though I haven't even taken it. I did take it out of the box. Started to say I hadn't, but I have taken it out of the box. At any rate, so the other day I was looking around, and I don't. There's a lot of people that only specifically want new in the box and all that stuff, and that's great. I don't have any new in the box stuff like that. I don't. I've got several boxed Xbox items. Okay, several of them. I've got a 360. I've got an Xbox One. I've got a Project Scorpio. I've got a Series X box and all that stuff. But I don't necessarily have just a lot of these guys floating around, running around in the house everywhere. But excuse me, I got to looking around the other day, and I noticed that one thing I didn't have was an original Xbox in the box. I didn't have the original box, and I kind of wanted one because I've got everything else. So I got to searching around, and I came across one online, and we're going to take a look at that here in just a minute. But I want to show this one firing up and running properly first for a reason. This one I repaired quite a while ago. Let me switch over here where you guys can get a shot. So we're going to kick them on. So this one, I know, this particular one, I know that I have removed the clock capacitor, so it's going to come up and ask us to input the time and date, which we are not going to do, but the disk drive does work and all of that good stuff. I spent, I'm not going to say like I spent a ridiculous amount of time restoring this or anything. I really don't remember all that much about it, because it's been quite a while since I did this one, but I did build a custom just for me version that's over on my shelf. It's I tracked down an original clear ghost case and all that stuff and slapped him on there. But the reason I've got this out is because of the one that I bought. So the one that I bought the other day on Xbox, or not Xbox, on eBay, I tracked one down with the original box and the original controllers and a game and all that stuff. So, voila. Man. So I wanted to, I wanted to have one of these, and this is not perfect by any stretch of the means. I did already open this. This is how it came for the most part, with the tape on it all messed up, which we can fix that. I say we can fix it. We'll put some shipping tape over it to hold that closed. But this is the way the box came to me. Of course, you've got the accessories list on the side, which if I can get it in frame and the back of it, which is all really cool. And not that the box is anything particularly special or wonderful, but it's something that I just did not have, and I wanted one. I did, so now I've got one. This is, I don't know that you guys can make it out, but up here in the top corner, it will tell you NTSC or PAL. This is the NTSC version, which of course I'm in North America, so that's what we have. So we're gonna open this guy up and take a look at what all condition everything is in and do whatever we have to do to get this thing back to working order. So first things first, because it's the biggest and the heaviest, will be the console itself. We're gonna set him down, and I'm gonna set this box over here. We'll go through everything else here in just a minute. So, we do have the console, and on the outside of it, there's some scuffs on the jewels, which you'll have. That's not a huge deal. Those can be polished out. The back of it's in good shape. The bottom of it, this has never been opened. And so how do we know that it's never been opened? Well, this sticker you can kind of work around, and this sticker you can definitely work around. But this one you cannot, or is it this one? One of these you cannot, there is no taking it off. You will destroy it. Now the feet you can get around taking off, but the other stuff you just can't without messing it up. But just kind of, let me switch over to the top-down view. Excuse me. Been working on a little bit of a sinus infection lately, but just kind of taking a look at it from the outside looking in, it actually looks to be in remarkably good condition. And when I say remarkably, I'm going to get the mobile cam down here for you guys so y'all can get an up-close view of what I'm seeing. So if we look, we can see there's no rust on the metals inside. They all look amazingly good shape. The back of it, there is a little bit of dust in the fan. You guys can see in there, a little bit of dust. But nothing horrible, and even the metal, you guys can see that there's no rusting, there's none of that stuff on there. And then again, back on this side, kind of looking in, the metals all look great inside, not a lot of dust buildup, and if we can peer through these holes, everything in this console looks to be in great shape. Now, while we say it looks to be in great shape, here's the truth about this Xbox. The truth about this Xbox is we got to make a decision, right? And when I say we got to make a decision, the decision that we have to make is there are ticking time bombs inside of there, and I think everybody at this point in the world knows it. You know, that the Xbox has got some capacitors that maybe they're not as good as they should be and all of that. So the question being, of course, you know, what do? Do we take this thing apart and replace all of those? Well, that's definitely 100% an option for us to do. And so we're going to take a look at that. Now, when we go through and look at this, right, what we have to do And I've switched over now to Console 5's Tech Wiki, and track down all of this, all the stuff. So they've got for the V0 and V1.1s and V1.3s and 1.4s and 1.6s and all that stuff, they've got where you can purchase the entire kit of all the capacitors, which is great for everything. So they've got that stuff, you can buy it all, but the question is, how do you know which version you have? So there's a couple of different ways, but there's nothing directly on here that says which version of the Xbox that you have. It's not like it says version 1.1, and the reason that it doesn't say that is how would they know how many versions they were going to have coming out? So there's no quick way to tell. But what we can do is what is happening? Oh, I'm having computer glitches over here. I think I've got too much going on the network today, which is strange. So I'm going to switch back over here. So basically, the manufacturing date of the Xbox is the way that okay? So you can look up the serial numbers, right? And the factory codes. You can enter in the serial number here, and it should, no, it doesn't look like it's going to, let us do that. So if we come down here, and I'll pull in the mobile cam. So if we come down here and we take a look, let's see how good this does. By the way, I've replaced the other camera for this one. I don't know how well that's coming out, but at any rate, so what we're looking at is we've got manufacturer date, serial number, and product ID, right? So really what we care about is our manufacturer date, first and foremost. So that's 11/28/2002. So 2002, so 11/28/2002. So we have got a 1.1 version is what we've got. Now, hardware serial number. So we can also pull the serial number, which is this guy right here, 314-1246-24805, and no, that's not going to help us. BIOS kernel version is going to help us, not on this one particularly. Okay, so what this is saying is the L, where he's got L and then a bunch of N's, and then the Y is the digit of the production year, WW is the week of the production year, FF is the code. The factory was produced to the last two digits, FF, right? Or in our case, 05, tells us that ours was produced in China. So if it was produced in China, then it can't be a 1.1. It must be a 1.2 or later. However, by the date code, 11/28/2002, 11/28/2002. 11/28/2002 says that it must have been produced somewhere else. This is where we get into a little bit of this aggravation. So Y is the first number right here, this 2. This 2 is the last digit of the production year, which is correct. It's 2002. And then the next 2 numbers is the week of the production year. So this is a 48, right? Yeah, so 48. It should be almost the end of the year, which is what we've got here by the manufacturing date. And then this 05, which is the factory produced. Again, I'm thinking that we've got a 1.1 version. There are some other ways to tell. But because, and this website's pretty good too. It says, you know, the factory code method is not very reliable because there may be some missing from the list. So the serial number check, so ours is a 42. Ours is a first or a 24. So what we're looking for is right here. This is us, 24 WFF. So we have most likely definitely got a version 1.1. It's not a version 1.0, but you know what? I'll take it. So far, we've got it, like I said, narrowed down to, we have got a version 1.1. The next step is to pull it apart and find out for 100% sure, you know, what exactly it is that we're looking at here. And you know, do we have a 1.1 or do we have a 1.2 or maybe even a 1.0? I doubt very seriously that we are looking at a 1.0, though that would be very cool to have the box and all that stuff. So we've got to decide what we're going to do with this guy. First thing that I'm a little bit timid to even plug it up, and I always get like that with the older consoles, because the second you go plugging them up, you go energizing capacitors that have theoretically been dead. Now I bought this used, and according to the seller, I bought it used and working. So, you know, for whatever that's worth. But I wanted to go through a couple other things that shipped with this. Of course, we've got the original Xbox instruction manual. We have got the original Xbox warranty. Which, you know, and everybody always asks this, but I wonder if we mailed this in. I wonder if they'd send it back to us with anything. But there's our purchase date codes and all that stuff, which is pretty cool. It also came with the Xbox Live book, right? Which is really cool to have. Of course, you know, whether that functionality still works or not goes back into the Nintendo conversation from before. I will say this: the person I bought this from, they did a pretty good job of packaging the thing up. Even if it's not in exactly original packaging, they did a pretty good job, and they wrapped it up pretty well. So this comes with a dual game, so I've already got GT 2002, but I don't have Jet Set Radio Future, which is not extremely. It's a little tougher to get. Jet Set Radio Future was a good game that I never played. So I do have both manuals in here. They're both in very good condition, exceptionally good condition. I don't know what kind of shape the disc itself is in. Okay, so we've got some fingerprints there, but overall, that's in really good shape. That's good. So this was the original pack-in game for this Xbox. And then it also came with a video and power controllers, which I have pulled out to plug up to the other Xbox. So it also came with this controller, which is in fantastic condition. And it came with this controller, again, in absolutely fantastic condition. As a matter of fact, I mean, this one's got a little discoloration on it. This one has seen more usage. This controller almost looks as though it has never been used, or if it was, it wasn't used much. But this one's I can see some of the texturing is worn off of it, which you would expect and anticipate. This is before we had bumpers. You guys remember that? Yeah, somebody's been into this one before too. Somebody's busted the screw hole out on it. This one seems to have remained. I did all of that, and you guys should have said something to me because I did all of that, and you guys couldn't see any of it. So we'll skip back over it real quick. Yeah. So this controller here, this one's the one that, I mean, it's been played with some. I'm not mad at them. It's still in pretty good shape, other than somebody's been into it. Other than that, it looks fine. This one again, though, is in absolutely, other than the slight discoloration right here, and there's a little bit here too. Other than that, though, we got maybe a scuff or a scratch here or there, but really overall in fantastic condition. Really is. Really in good shape. Very happy about that. I don't know if you guys could see these earlier, but you know, probably not, since I think I was sideways when I did it. But yeah, there you go. There's the game disc, all of that stuff, and of course the books, which are fantastic. We love these. And the back side of it's got the Jet Set Radio Future. Fantastic game. Of course, all of our manuals and warranty cards and all of this. You know, it's been so long since I've even seen. There's a little bit of dirt on this. It's been so long since I've even seen one of these. Even the font inside of this is fantastic. It's all in the Xbox style font, man. They really went all for it. They really did. What a great job. Yeah, and of course the detachable controllers, the inline release, back before we had wireless controllers. Imagine that. But yeah, so of course all the manuals and everything's in good shape. And you know, like I said, the person, whoever owned this, the person I bought it from, did a fantastic job of at least preserving it. So, you know, what are we going to do? Well, first and foremost, we don't have a lot of choice in the matter. I can't in good conscience put this back in the box, put it on the shelf, and leave it there, you know, for 20 more years, knowing that the capacitors inside of it may very well be bad. That's just not something, you know, I mean, you guys know me, it's just not something I can do. I just, mentally up here, I can't do it. So because of that, we're kind of locked into, well, we have to get into the thing, we've got to open it up, we just absolutely have to, and tune it up, replace any of those capacitors and all of that stuff. You know, that's just stuff that we have to do, because if we don't, you know, like I said, if we don't, who knows how long the thing's actually going to ever last. You know, it may burn out tomorrow, which is absolutely no good. We don't want that at all. But knowing that we're going to crack it open, I guess we're going to power it up. And let's just see how bad it is. I'm sure by now, I'm positive by now, that if nothing else, the clock capacitor is in need of replacement. I do want to show you guys something though, and it took me a really long time to figure this out, to notice this. But if you've ever noticed, the eject button is the big one on top and the power button is the small one on the bottom, and that's because playing games, this console revolved around a disk drive. And they were more interested in you being able to immediately walk up and hit the open button and the console turn on, the disk drive pop open, and you being ready to play than they were anything else. So let's find out if the clock capacitor has been replaced. I doubt it very seriously. I doubt it very seriously. But what I want to do is I want to prop up the cam here, and I'm going to get a controller. I know, by the way, yes, I know, I'm well aware. I remember I told you guys that I had the capture card and that we wouldn't have to do this anymore. And it's not that I wasn't telling the truth. I absolutely was. It was just that I've got to get an adapter. I guess I just need to break down and buy a FrameMeister or something like that to connect. So what I'm going to do is we're going to stick this disc in, hit the close button, and very quickly, let me see if I can pan this around so you guys get a little bit better view of what's going on the old TV here. And we're just going to select all the way through this. That's good enough for us. Oh yeah, so look, we've got Blinks the Time Sweeper, Buffy the Vampire Slayer video, Neck Assault, Panzer Dragoon Orch, Shenmue video, Transworld Snow video, and Xbox Live video. Cool. How very cool is this? A little bit of throwback. Man, that's loud. Wow. I'm sure that was an absolutely craptastic game. Panzer Dragoon, that was probably really good. I was never a big fan of Panzer Dragoon. I really wasn't. But I hear it was a great video now. Shenmue 2, I love Shenmue. I absolutely love Shenmue. Shenmue was an absolutely fantastic game. Really good, way ahead of its time. You know, absolutely fantastic. So we're gonna hit, kick that disc out and see. Is there anything left in the memory? Let's just see. Well, we got a Sega GT that took up 6 blocks of memory. Other than that, I don't think so. I really did. This was such a great interface. Just really was a great interface. Let's stick that guy in there. Let's load up a game. Let's see how it plays. We'll just see kind of how it plays and see what it does. Let's see. Let's do Sega GT, I guess. Let's load it up and see what it comes up with. just do a quick time attack. You know which game I really like, and I miss. I wish I still had it, but it's on the GameCube. Was the what was it? It was the first one with. Oh Lord, I don't remember. What was the name of that game? Some drift game. I don't remember. Let's try this. Lightly tuned. Perfect. Oh, they're not using the triggers for a little joystick drift in it. They're not using that. It's funny, they don't use the triggers for the throttle or the brake. Wow. Cool, very cool. All right, so let's power this guy off. Let's eject the disc first. Let's not forget that, that's important. And we're gonna stick him back in his case. Power this guy off, unplug our controller, and we'll drop our controller back down into the box for now. Unplug our power and our video. And we'll move the mobile cam back over here so we can get a decent shot down on it. There we go. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a real quick step away break for a minute, and when I come back, we will take a look at this. And I'll see if I can't pull up something else I've been working on a little bit too. So give me just a minute, and I'll be right back. I will toss the intro on for you guys, let you guys watch that. All right, guys, we're back. So now that we're back, let me fix this a little bit because that is way too quiet. So I just noticed, while I stepped off and let the dogs out and all that stuff, I just noticed that the audio was a little bit wonky, and of course I apologize for all of that stuff. But we're going to get into fixing this guy now, or at least taking a look at what needs to be fixed on it. And hopefully, with any luck at all, I get into this without having to bust open these stickers, which would be really nice. Most likely, though, we're going to have to end up cracking one of them, which is not good, but we're going to do our best to not mess any of them up. So let's get that guy handy, that guy handy, that guy handy. Probably not going to need all of those, but better to have and not need than need and not have, I guess. I do want to slightly adjust this guy out a little bit. And perhaps, there we go. That's a little bit better, huh? So we're going to be very gently there are 3D printed replacements that you can get, you can download for these guys, for these feet. And it doesn't, I mean, it does kind of replace them, but it doesn't really replace them. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it replaces them with 3D printed permanent plastic parts that you sticky tape down. They're pretty fantastic. They're pretty cool. We're not going to be using those, but I did want to mention that they are available. They are out there. I did not design them. I have not printed any of them, but I've seen them. And who knows, maybe one of these days I'll print some for it. Who knows? So peeling these feet up just a little bit at a time. Let me put you over here out of the way. You're always in the way. Let me get this guy. One of the important reasons too that we definitely want to take this guy apart and take a look at him. Excuse me for a second, I'm hunting my screwdriver that I can never find anymore. Is we definitely want to replace the thermal compound in the console, in the unit. At this point, it's 4 million years old and has 99% never been replaced. At which point, if it's never been replaced, which is most likely the case, then it is most likely extremely beyond repair, not savable, and most likely no longer cooling the system in any meaningful way at all, which could lead to overheating, all that stuff. So we definitely want to replace that. I couldn't find my other screwdriver, so I just grabbed the wow stick. And I'll say this about the wow stick: there's lots of people that got them very quickly when they released them, and electric screwdrivers have been out for a while, but the wow stick was kind of the first. I don't know, it was a big hit. But I'll say this about it: it's garbage. Don't waste your money on it. Really not very good at all. And I'm not trying to be mean to the makers of the fine wow stick at all, but it's really, really, really not very good. So I'm going to turn up the background music just a little bit. All right, I think I got him adjusted pretty close to where it needs to be right now. Yeah, the wow stick's not, it's great for certain little things, but it lacks the torque. For the price, though, I mean, it's really not bad at all. It's just not very good. So save your money. If you're thinking about getting one, I mean, unless you just really, really, really want one, save your money. So we've got a screw right here, okay? And we've got a screw. So the best way to do this right here is to use your finger and with a light amount of pressure, just kind of run your finger around till you find the holes. So I know I've got one right here. This one. There are a couple of ways to do this without damaging these stickers. And the way that I like is to use an X-Acto knife to gently lift. But you have to, if you're going to do it, these stickers want to separate. So you have to go really slow and very deliberately about it. Get you a little edge to work with, and then gently start lifting up on it. And so you do this right here, and you just work at it a little at a time. You can also use, and I would be using it, but I'm out. So a little bit of isopropyl alcohol will go a long way. So we can peel this guy back now, just enough until you can just get your fingers on it to peel the sticker back. Is all you want. Now this other sticker is it's a real nightmare. I've only ever really gotten it off twice, I think, without damaging or having to cut through the sticker. But if we do end up having to cut through the sticker, we'll show you guys a trick for it to get through it without, I mean, you'll always know it, but you know, it won't be quite as noticeable in the long run. So first off, find where it is, and it's right underneath this electrical hazard symbol. So first off, find your corner that you can get to. Find your corner that you can get to, which is right here. Once you find your little corner that you can get to like that, I don't know that you guys can see it, but I'm using the blade side, the sharpened edge down, away from the sticker. And just gently lifting up. I'm not going to just rip and pull. We're just gently, matter of fact, let me bring down this. This is exactly what I bought this thing for. There we go. This is exactly the purpose that I bought this camera for. I think I already mentioned it, but I did switch from the GoPro over to another one of these Nexigo cams because I really like the way the other two I had worked. They just really did a great job. Good little webcams. Quality's fantastic. There we go. So we're going to pull this screw out. Now, I'm not going to fold these stickers back down yet. I do want to caution you too, as you're peeling those stickers up, you don't want to put too much pressure on them. They'll actually stretch. You can put too much pressure on it. And that's another way that, I mean, listen, honesty and all that stuff. Yes, I've taken the thing apart and all that, but reality wise, you absolutely tell somebody, hey, yeah, I've taken this apart if you're going to sell the thing. 100% you tell the truth about it. But, even in my own collection, I don't want something with ripped and torn stickers, though I've got them. To me, I prefer to have it, without that. So we're going to gently start pulling this guy right here back. Very gently there we go. And rotate him up on his side. Move the, you know what, let's just switch back over to the top-down camera. There we go. So, just going to gently push, pull, until it slides right off. There we go. Wow. So I am absolutely, it's got a Seagate drive, which is fantastic, and the Samsung disk drive, which is fantastic. Look at how clean this thing is. Let me switch back over to this guy right here. Let me let you guys get a look at this. I mean, this thing is just beautiful inside. I don't know. This thing must have just not got played much. Just must not have been used all that much, because this thing is just in, just in absolutely fantastic condition. Really is. Just beautiful inside. Absolutely beautiful. So what we're going to do, that was a mistake. So let me put him, bring him over here. So first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to pull the IDE cable out. Now when I did my crystal clear one, I replaced this IDE cable with it's really cool. I don't remember, I found it on Amazon, but whoever makes it, it's an incredibly cool little cable. Instead of being a flat cable like this, it's an actual cable. It's like they individually stripped them out and then from there, the magnet on the wow stick sucks too. Sorry. From there, they, oh no, that's a problem. Sorry, where was I? From there, they wrapped it up and it just came out. It's a fantastic looking thing. That's what I recommend to anybody who's looking to get one. It's like a white cable. I found it on Amazon. It's absolutely fantastic. We are not actually loosening the screw at all. We may have to try a new route. I've got some, I originally bought nope, I don't have a long one in there either. I was going to say, I originally bought a wow stick clone that had the proper, that'll work perfectly. That had long bits in it, but that apparently does not work. I don't have a long one of the one that I need. because it doesn't want to come out. Smaller. Maybe. None of those. Oh, you know what? It just occurred to me. You know what I've got? Got a whole set. I've got everything I need right here. Unless it's not in this set. But it's the T10 that's not in there. That's okay. Go with this set. It's not that one. Goodness gracious. I used to know where everything was. And now I can't find anything. Okay. That is indeed the correct size. I just can't. Maybe we can do this. If we play our cards just right, maybe we can do this. Yes, we can do this. This work. I really don't know what happened to my other screwdriver. I'll have to find it. Got it. Remove the power cable for the hard drive now, and it can be a little bit aggravating. It's an old Molex style connector on the hard drive. So when you get into one of these, you want to check for a number of things. The most important one, of course, is checking our power supply, making sure none of our capacitors are bursting or have burst or anything like that. Aha. See this? See all this? That right there. That. I don't know that you guys are getting a look at that. There you go. You can see that discoloration. It's not wet, but it kind of looks like it though. Okay, well, never mind all of that. The next thing we're going to remove is going to be the disk drive. It should lift straight up and out. It's all on these plastic trays. Getting the disk drive out sometimes can be a little bit of a headache. There we go. Disk drive wise, yeah, our clock capacitor, I'll get you guys a shot. There went the screw. Every time. So, let me get this. Let me get this camera down here and get you a shot of this clock capacitor here. So this guy right here is our clock capacitor, and I don't know. I'm going to try to get the camera down on it. So here's our clock capacitor right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's definitely not enough light on it. I don't know if shining a flashlight will help, but it might. So if you look right there at the bottom of that clock capacitor and all around it, you can see it has vented and leaked already. So good thing that we are here and can fix that, because if not, then it would continue to leak, vent, which is pretty much done now, but it would definitely damage the board beyond repair in a hurry. So I do want to switch over now that we've actually got access inside, and so on our video chip identification, the connexant chip is 1.0, 1.12, 1.13, blah, blah, blah. So all of that. I'm pretty positive we've got a 1.1 at this point. Pretty positive. So that's good information for us to have. At least now we know we can buy the entire kit here from console 5 for 1.1 if we want to. Let's see I wonder what the price is. Let's see here. So we go with that guy right there. No, I'm not going to buy 10. Power supply. This is a Fox link. Go down here. Fox link. We've got several, don't we? Which revision is this? This is Rev D, revision D. Fox link, Rev D and D1. Oh Lord Jesus. So FTPS 001 maybe? So FTPS 001. So this is our power supply kit that we would get, which would be Fox link. This one right here. We won't need this. DVD belts. No, we don't need any of that. So looks like we're about 30 bucks. Probably gonna have to buy that. That's not a bad price. Do want to look at, that's not bad. Okay, so definitely got to replace that. This does not have the fan on top. Okay, there were some revisions of this that had a fan. I don't remember off the top of my head which one was which one, but I think the earliest version, I think if memory serves, or maybe I don't know, one of the versions had a fan on the cooler. So this says Rev D and this says Rev D1. Either way, the hard drive or the power supply kit we were going to get would work either way. I'm just taking a second to look around the board at the capacitors. Yeah, wow. This one here. I don't know if you guys can see that gunk. Oh, no, you can't see it because I'm still there. Because I left it on the screen. So, I don't know if you guys can see it. Focus. Okay, so this capacitor here is vented out the top. All of these are bulging. All of these are bulging. That is bulging. Those two are fine. These small ones are fine. That's just got some dust on it. Come here. Come here. That Nichicon cap is fine. 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 Those are all fine. Our clock cap we know is bad and needs to be replaced. Everything else is what it is. So we're going to order the proper parts Oh my God. We're gonna order the proper parts. Go ahead and get them coming our way. Sorry about the horrible camera work there. But I had a sticker that was messed up. We're gonna order the proper parts and replace all that. I'm gonna go ahead, if at all possible, remove this guy. I hate these, by the way. A little trick I learned a long time ago working on these was push down and use a tool to gently push forward, very gently. First and foremost, this plastic is 20 years old now. It's brittle. The processor, the GPU or the CPU underneath here generally comes off extremely easily. The heatsink, it's the GPU one that really does not like to let go. But I'm going to show you a trick for that too. So we got both of those arms out. Voila, that's all. That is absolutely hard as a rock. Of course it is. So this guy does not like to let go. What we can do is, we're smarter than the average bear, is get our handy dandy heat gun out. And we're going to apply heat straight down, right in the middle, and just let it run. I'm sitting at, I'm about 300 degrees C. Just for a few seconds here, not super long. And while we're doing that, I'm going to take a screwdriver. There we go, that's all it took. She's loose. Voila. That is how you remove one of these without putting all the force and pressure and everything else on it. Because what a lot of people have you do is try to twist it or pry it or lift it and stuff like that. What that ends up causing is a damaged GPU, which you absolutely don't want. You want to avoid that at all costs. So follow my little instruction there. You don't have to, by the way, use a heat gun or a hot air rework station. You can use just a heat gun. You can really even use a hair dryer. I've seen that done before. The trick is, though, you know, don't get it too hot. Well, how do I not get it too hot? Well, that's easy enough. You know, again, put your tool down right here on this edge, you know, and I wasn't pushing, I wasn't prying, I just put it in there until I could feel it start to slide away, and then we were done. Problem solved. It's finished. We can then remove our tool and pull the heatsink off. All I'm doing here, again, is I'm using Flux remover, and I'm using Flux remover because I'm out of IPA. And when I say I'm not out of IPA, okay? I've got some, but it is tainted with resin. So I've got more IPA coming. I'm also out of paper towels, but I've got more of those coming too. But that's all you have to do. Now this thermal compound here, you're going to see me using a screwdriver. Don't use a screwdriver. Use something plastic. Okay? Use something plastic. Don't do what I'm doing. It's a terrible idea. Just going to heat this up just a little bit. And that's all it takes. Just a little bit. A little bit of heat goes a long way with old thermal compound. A little bit of heat goes a very long way. Now, of course, we'll be replacing this with some good old-fashioned MX4. Yes, I'm using a hot air rework station on this CPU. No, I'm not reflowing it. I'm not, nothing like that. I am heating up gently the old thermal paste so that I can remove it from the die without damaging the die. And my hot air station's only getting, it's set to 300. But the short time I've got it there, it's probably only getting to about 200. And of that 200, it's only on there for a couple of seconds. So the chance of doing any damage is absolutely none. No chance at all. So there we go. There we go. Great. There was a mod kit. There was a company, and I don't remember the name of them. Modern Vintage Gamer did a piece on these a couple years back where he had one, and they increased the amount of RAM and swapped the processor out. This was just this chip on here was just a Celeron, I believe, if memory serves correctly. I believe it's just a Celeron's all it was. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was an off-the-shelf part that Microsoft used for the processor. And even the NVIDIA GPU, this is the first and last time Microsoft used NVIDIA for their GPUs, but everything after that went to AMD. But even the GPU was mostly an off-the-shelf part. I mean, this is essentially just a PC in a box, just whittled down with a BIOS on it and with firmware on it, that software on it that would only let it run these games. However, with some clever engineering, some people worked around that. We're just going to heat up this thermal paste on the just heat this thermal paste up a little bit. And if we do it, now that stuff is absolutely stuck. That's no problem. So what we're going to do, again, well, you guys can see, sharp side down. And we should be able to get underneath this, peel most of it right up. It's just these little tricks like this right here, using a flat blade X-Acto to just slide underneath this. These are the things that nobody really tells you, and you kind of figure it out after you do enough of these. You go, man, there's got to be an easier way. If you're only doing one, I mean, you're just going to suffer through it. But when you're doing a bunch of them, sure does make life a lot easier to know the tips and the tricks and the way around it. And I guess, even if you're doing more than one, or if you're only doing your own, you could suffer, stick it out, deal with it. But, knowing the little tricks like this right here, man, they sure do make things better. I don't know what kind of thermal paste this, or goop, or whatever this is, but it was absolutely the hardest substance known to man once it's set in. Almost like an epoxy. Now, of course, if you're doing what I'm doing, and let me switch over to the top-down view. If you're doing what I'm doing right here, of course, with a razor blade, you want to be extra careful. Don't Don't cut yourself. So I'll tell you something that I'm prone to doing. I say prone to doing it. I'm don't tell anybody. I'm notorious for taking these boards out and tossing them in the dishwasher, or putting them in a sink full of soapy water and just scrubbing the pee out of them to get them clean. And that's probably what's going to happen to this board. You know, and everybody will tell you water and electricity do not mix. And they're right, they don't. As an electrician myself, I'll tell you, the last thing you want to do is put water around electronics or electricity. You definitely don't want to do that. However, having said that, if you go through the proper procedures, you shut the board down and you drain all the excess electricity out of it, you do it properly, there's the chance of damaging anything is so insignificantly small that it doesn't matter. There's absolutely no chance you would ever hurt anything. The flux remover is absolutely, it's the ether in the flux remover, just is such a great cleaner. In a pinch, if you don't have IPA, flux remover, definitely the way to go. Voila. Okay. Now, we're at a point, I'm going to have to order the capacitors because I don't have them. Can't power this board back on. Not going to put it back together until I have all the components to put it back together with. Not going to take it apart until I have the components on hand to replace them with. They'll be here fast enough. There is a little bit of rust in here. Very little bit. Just down there. $96-watt power output. I'm sorry, I get distracted sometimes reading some of the stuff on here. So, not going to put the heat sinks back on because they don't have thermal compound on them. So what shall we do then? What shall we do? I don't want to end the stream already, but I think we're kind of at a good stopping point right now for me to go ahead and order the parts and give them some time to come in, and then we will revisit this. In the meantime, let me pull up a thing real quick. And show you the real reason, or the other reason, that I bought this. If I can find it. I'll find it. I guess we can definitely open that one. Oh, there it is, right there. Found it. Here we go. So, the transition over here real quick. I made things. Never mind that thing. So I made these things, which are pretty cool. And I started making this thing. So anybody that knows, let me find it. There we go. Let me find it. Anybody that knows anything about the original Xbox, what's the word I'm looking for? That's the word I'm looking for. Aha. So, transition over here. Anybody that knows anything about the original Xbox at all knows about this guy right here, right? This was the original prototype for the original Xbox. This is what the back of it looked like. There's a better up close view of the back of it, so you can see the disk drive coming out. We had 2 fans on it. I assume. I don't know. I don't know what all these actually do, all these different ports. I don't know. There's not a whole lot out there about it, but the front of it, man, did it look cool. Is that one? Is this the one? There you go. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's not a very good picture of it, but I think you kind of get the idea anyway. It was just a giant X, a giant metal X. There you go, right there. And so, I thought that it would be pretty cool to make one. So while I don't have exact dimensions of it or anything like that, I don't have anything like that. Now that I have this out, right? Now that I have out of this, this one we're going to put back to stock, 100% original, not going to upgrade it. We're just going to replace the capacitors, call it a day. But the other one, which is one of my several other ones, first one that we saw in the stream today, this guy right here, I think we can turn into this. I think we can. I think we can do it. So, I had to wait until this came in because I wasn't going to take that one apart. Excuse me. I wasn't going to take that one apart until it came in to get the measurements that I needed to get for it. So, at any rate, I guess that kind of leaves us, well, where we're at. You guys know the plan, and you know what's coming. So I'm gonna keep working on. Or I'm gonna go order the parts for this, get them in. The Fluke meter, you guys know we're waiting on a part for it to come, so it'll be here shortly. When the parts for this one come in, the capacitor kits, we'll replace those, reassemble it. Console 5 ships pretty quickly, so we'll assemble those parts, replace all the caps, clean it up, put new thermal compounds and all the stuff. We'll do all the things. And then we'll put it back together, wrap it up, put it back in its box, and put it on the shelf, never to be seen, heard from again. You know, all of that. And in the meantime, I will take measurements. Of the board, right? Of all of the sizes and dimensions that I have to work with, and then I can figure out exactly what size this needs to be, and how all of the components are going to have to fit inside of it, and be structurally supported and all that stuff, so that we can make one. Because I think that'd be pretty cool. If I could come up with a way to stick like the board in here and the disk drive here and the hard drive down here, maybe the power supply, I don't know. Figure that out. We'll figure that out, right? But if I can come up with a way to do it and make this, even if I've got to physically cut this down to size in 4 different pieces and assemble, just half of it or whatever, and then glue it together or figure out some sort of screw mounting thing, whatever I've got to do. I think that would be, I think that'd be something worthwhile, something worth doing. At any rate, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. I really don't see, just kind of looking around, I don't see anywhere else for us to go at this particular point. So I guess thanks for watching. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys on the next one. All that good stuff. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Go down below, click the buttons, the things, the like and the subscribe, or the down vote if you didn't like it. I don't know. Do all the stuff. Leave me some comments. Let me know with this design over here, with this guy. If you guys think it's a good idea, or if you think it's stupid and why waste my time, my effort on it. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe we just print these guys right here off in some cool resin. And stick them on the case. I don't know. Maybe we do something cool with it. I don't know. But you guys, like I said, y'all let me know what you think, what your ideas are, and we'll take it from there. We'll see if we can't come up with something cool. But at any rate, thanks for watching. We will definitely 100% see you guys on the next one.